Hi there, students. I've had a question from Madame Coeur de Montespan about using continuous tenses. The question says something like the way progressive tenses are working in German is different to the way they are working in English. And this is wrong. I would say they work differently in English to the way they work in German. I've particularly noticed this problem with people whose mother tongue is German and also from Hindi speakers. They tend to overuse continuous tenses. I've even got one or two students who I've banned from using continuous tenses because they use them so often that if they make a mistake, I would much prefer they used a present simple and made a mistake instead of using a continuous. So let's look at this phrase. The continuous tenses are working differently. They work differently. When you use a progressive tense, it says that something is changing. A change is taking place. And in this phrase, the progressive tenses work in a specific way. It's the way they function. There is no change taking place. And you need to think, is this a state that goes from one to another, or is this something that is progressively changing? So, I understand this idea. I am understanding this idea. Well, for me as an English speaker, either you understand it or you don't. So I understand it. It's possible, but remotely possible, to use I am understanding this. As you are explaining it, I am understanding it more and more profoundly. And here you're talking about a change in your understanding taking place. Now we have this problem. This problem is most acute with verbs of state or stative verbs. And the reason is verbs of state, some have more possibility for change than others. So, for example, to seem. You seem sad. Okay, there's no change taking place, but you are seeming sadder and sadder as the day goes on. I could just about use a continuous here, but I'd much rather you seem sadder and sadder as the day goes on. Are you wanting a cup of coffee? No. Do you want a cup of coffee? Either you want one or you don't want one. Maybe if we're walking through the desert and you want water, maybe you are wanting water more and more, but I would still use want as a present simple tense. So with this idea of stative verbs, you need to think of them as either on or off, and no state in between. Okay, that's why they're progressive, because something is progressively changing from one state to another. Now, the question also said, please, would you look at this with the verb to have? Well, the first thing to remember with have is it has two different types of meaning. I am having a shower. I'm taking a shower. This is an activity, and clearly it's easy to use this in a continuous tense. But I have a beautiful house. I have it. Either you have it or you don't have it. Where have means to own, it's very unusual to use a continuous tense. maybe if you're buying something by installments, I'm steadily owning this car more and more as I pay the installments on it. Just about, but no, I would much prefer I steadily own, present simple again. So with stative verbs, you need to think, is it something that changes, or is it either black or white? And in English, we look at the stative verbs much more in the way of something that's black or white. Now you're going to ask about this phrase from McDonald's, I'm loving it. Well, I guess it's all right, and you can use it as well with English. If people use things, then they become correct. But I love it, I don't love it. It's a state. Either I love it, it's fantastic, or I don't love it. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the process. As it's going in, I'm enjoying this. So here, over a period of time, I'm loving it. Let's see. We also use progressive tenses to say that something is happening during a period of time. And I'm loving it. Well, maybe while I'm in McDonald's eating my hamburger, I'm loving it. Yeah? And then when I go out and my stomach feels terrible, I start hating it. Or I'm hating it. But again, I love it. I hate it. Either you love it or you hate it. Yeah? There's it's not very common there that there is a process going on. So, be careful with these progressive verbs, particularly if you're a German speaker or a Hindi speaker. I've noticed this problem as well for Italians, but much less for Spanish people, much less for Scandinavians as well. But be careful with progressive tenses. So let's just go over when we use progressive tenses. So for something happening now, I am sitting here right now. I sit here every day and make a video, but right now I'm sitting here. Or something that is temporary around a period of time. He's living at his uncle's house while his house is being repaired. You could probably even use lives, but he's living at his uncle's house. This gives you the idea that it's a situation that is temporary and will soon pass. The past progressive. I was having a shower when the phone rang. So this is saying that one action is in progress when another action happens, or at a specific point in the past. Future progressive. At this time tomorrow, I will be sitting on the beach. Again, something that's in progress when something else happens. Something that's happening at a specific point in time. Okay? So, the moral to the story. Try not to overuse progressive tenses, particularly with verbs of state. Remembering that some verbs of state are more solid than others. Okay? I hope that's helped you. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Progressive tenses and stative verbs.